ready to get underway. AGF perhaps going to be looking for that CT start here just to be slightly more comfortable on Mirage.
Well, I'm just looking back at HELLRAISERS, some of their recent performances in their league games over the past few months, and they've not really got too many wins or too many matches to show on it. They're more interested in playing Dust 2 and Inferno. So AGF, they played us 1 or 2 times in their league campaign, so certainly can look towards producing a bit of an upset here. But you've got to really favour AGF, I think, going into the series. It's so close. I really couldn't call this one. Like you said, 2 places apart in the world rankings. It's open for debate as to whether who's going to be better. And it's going to be about just keeping watch of this CT money early on for HELLRAISERS, especially on the defensive end of Mirage.
We might have a bit of a split decision. You seem to think AGF are the favourites. And when I look at this one, HELLRAISERS, if they can start strong on Mirage, there's definitely a chance they can steal Inferno away from AGF. It's not unfamiliar territory for the CIS squad. So they certainly have an opportunity to also put a statement out and advance immediately to the playoffs in dominant fashion. It's HELLRAISERS who get to start on the CT side after that knife round victory, and AGF are going to send 4 players quickly on B, with Lucky alone to lurk on the A site.
Well, problem for now gets the early information that for now middle is going to be clear. That's not going to be a contention point. For now, it is under, and it's where JR has just about been able to escape. Problem from behind really could cause a bit of an issue for the AGF side, and for now HELLRAISERS just kind of trapping them and gives this player from behind really a chance to strike first.
Jalen finds the opening, but TMB and Lucky with the quick replies in towards connector. That nade could have done immense amount of damage as far finds the headshots with his USPS. Problem opening up now as well, and he finishes it all off. 3 quick, clean shots from the USP, and HELLRAISERS convert the opening round.
And well played approach with it. AGF just looked trapped towards the connector entrance, and they couldn't really get too much going since they got trapped in under. And we mostly expected what could have been a fast B play. It was always contact, it was always slow. It was always a slow approach to the round, and that might be a slight fault in how the Danes start this one off. For now, let's enter the A site from a different way. 4 in Palace. Certainly means a waterfall play will be coming in. Flash with the flashes, but the M4 on site combined with the SMG for now just makes it look easy.
No players falling whatsoever for HELLRAISERS as they preserve the economy, and Jalen is able to earn himself a nice little bit of extra cash with that MP9. Now it's the full guns from AGF in round 3. No AWP, of course, in the early buy, and utility limited on Netric by the looks of things. He'll eventually start buying up, but just the smokes, flashes, and HEs available. Only the 1 Molotov for AGF to use to root out any HELLRAISERS defensive positions. They go for the quick contact mid play, and interestingly, HELLRAISERS, they commit no players to watching that position.
Oh, HELLRAISERS, they've gone for this unique approach where they've essentially played 4 towards A. It's got them a trade kill, and it's got them an AK, but one-on-one trade if anything, and AGF more or less have just come off better in terms of the health. But now Netric looks towards short. Lucky was in apartments, but looks to now fall away. Might look for some sort of entry towards the A site here, and with Netric's also looking to lurk towards jungle. This has an A split written all over it, and Kalinka isn't too afraid or too interested in what the A site has to offer.
The gamble stack over on A as HELLRAISERS went for the bonus in this round. The scout and 2 SMGs brought forward. 3 SMGs even, I think, were saved forward from that last round. And it's been upgraded at least 1 onto an AK in this one. But now advancement out onto the A bomb site should trigger rotations from HELLRAISERS, but they themselves are in trouble as Kalinka is taken down on the AK in kitchen. That could already be the save call from HELLRAISERS here, unless Flaric can deny the plant or go for any heroics. He'll get nothing at all, and that should be HELLRAISERS saving their money as AGF reply quickly.
Oh, they're replying, and they're making sure that HR don't have anything going into what's going to be that round number 4 following this one. And if it's the scout that remains, then it's far from ideal. The CT money early on just has to be maintained and more or less ensured that it's not a concern going into the future rounds. The CT side, you want to just try and get as much money as possible built up just to try and get the M4s, get the full set of utility. AGF have the bomb plant and will look to keep 4 alive at the end here. Good response. First gun round, won by a Danish side.
The rebuy can obviously come straight back through from HELLRAISERS, and now we can check out the odds from our partners over at LootBet, still favouring HELLRAISERS in this opening map of Mirage as it's their pick, but relatively close between these two sides. Not a sure thing for HELLRAISERS at all.
It's certainly one that's far open. I somewhat agree with the bets, to be fair. Like you said, it's HR's map pick. They should be favoured to come off better, but let's see what this force buy round can at least deliver them. M4 and AWP, well, balance M4. Damas on a scout is far from a terrible buy. Metric for now looks to just send some utility out towards B. And it is going to be that site which the Danish side look to work with. Molotov towards car, TMB on short already finds the initial one, and while the scout can deliver some damage while on site, a Deagle gets more. It's for now HELLRAISERS with that minor advantage, and they look to extend it.
Kalinka protected by the AWP and still dealing damage with the scout. Eventually Froslem will take him down, but JR, that's the slight overextension. Both of the remaining HELLRAISER players are towards short, and TMB had no idea of that one. It will be the third then for HELLRAISERS. They get one quickly back, but AGF, they still can just about justify the purchase into this round. They might want to keep the economy of HELLRAISERS under pressure through the investment into this one and try and keep the scoreline as close as possible in the early stages.
Quick smoke towards middle. AGF start this one off with a bit of a default, but a lot of pressure over towards the A site. Early flash and a Molotov just sent in towards middle by Lucky, but for now, his side won't be too pressed for map control and look towards B because there is a lot of pressure being applied onto the two players down there. Metric for now just hiding up close, almost a unique angle, and it certainly could get compromised if the CTs don't prepare for it.
The rest of AGF are wandering out onto the A bomb site now, and Netric has been found over on B. The lurker dealt with. AGF have to make their way in elsewhere, but nobody's checked under. And that's the round all said and done. Jalen with 3 massive kills on the AK. AGF, they've struggled intensely to get into that A-bomb side, and that's just the perfect round from HELLRAISERS. They survive relatively unscathed. Economically, they're in an excellent place now.
Just about looking to build up this bank. AGF, again, have to wait for the money to be restored. At least from their point of view. And pistols are out. That's best as the AGF side have really got to work with. So a quick smoke in middle. Jalen, already a good angle where he could fight 1 or 2 players quite easily, in fact, but a run boost is something he might not be fully prepared for. AGF, meanwhile, with control wanted in apartments also. And a slow one.
Problem has gotten the opener. And Jalen, up on the high ground, is found by Froslov from below. Should be a recovered rifle, but it's actually dropped on the B short position, and now HELLRAISERS have moved in aggressively to defend that weapon, and Kalinka's able to find another kill. AGF, unlikely they win the round at this point. More Deagle kills certainly would be a bonus, but Frostlev alone looking ahead into the next round as Kalinka cleans it all up for HELLRAISERS. The 5-1 start on the CT side, the absolute dream. Now it's just about keeping that momentum going.
Well, we said that HELLRAISERS came into this off the back of a really dynamic and demolishing round and game from their side on train. And if they can keep up a similar performance here, if they can keep up this amazing start, then what's to say they can't do it to this AGF side, who are supposedly similar ranked in comparison, and AWP already are. JR now going to be pressured on short, but still allowed the initial kill. TMB the first to fall, and then even in connector, Netric thought he had the smoke for cover, but still falls. Jalen finds HELLRAISERS a quick 2-0 advantage.
And this could be another completely clean gun round from HELLRAISERS. Certainly seeing why they chose to take us to Mirage, at least at this point. Lucky's going to be able to get 1 kill, but that might just be all she wrote in this particular round. On 7 points of health. 1 bullet enough to put him away, and that's exactly what Kalinka does. A 6-1 lead now for HELLRAISERS as they're somewhat mirroring their start on Train, which was also incredibly dominant from them. And AGF, perhaps we're seeing here why they don't like to take it to Mirage very often. They are struggling immensely up against this HELLRAISER CT side. They can't even get kills a lot of the time.
No, that's been the issue. HELLRAISERS have just looked quite crisp in their shots. They've not taken too much damage, and AGF, it's a bit of a concern. Now they've got pistols. They might be able to hunt for at least a bomb plant. The Molotov, as expected, slow things down. More sets of nades, some aggression, which you don't see too often, which shows why you don't see it often. Christo gets 2. Both players on the B side actually dealt with, so HELLRAISERS get a little too confident. They lose the site and now have to retake it.
This is what happened a little bit from HELLRAISERS on Train as well. Starting to overextend. What really dealt the damage. AGF, they look all but set to put their second round on the board, but they're not content with that. They want to go aggro with the Tech 9s, hunt down some AKs, and bring those forward into the next round to preserve their own economy. And try and salvage this first half. There's still time to do so. There's still time to come out on top of this half of Mirage. Careful planning and tactics are what's going to get that done. Jalem can at least defend that AK and stop it from being saved forward. AGF, though, still guaranteed the second round.
Well, Lucky isn't going to get too lucky at the end there. Falls to the AWP. JR gets something else at the end there. Just to point out, within 9 rounds, Jalem 11-3 up.
And our partners over at Hellcase there, they're the biggest and most well-known case opening site with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and absolutely loads more unique features. HELLRAISERS sticking with the full buy in this round. They have the money even to full buy up into the next should they lose this one ahead. AGF still with a lot of heavy lifting to do if they want to break the CT bank.
JR, at this point, is only left with 2 flashes to support the AWP. Minimal utility left within what's just been 15 seconds played. JR. Now, AWPing down towards the angle, just backed away as AGF now set off the utility. All 5 more or less happy to try and execute out to the A site, but the AWP's going to be the real concern. It could be the real thistle in this approach. TMB, the first to fall, and Christo looks to respond, and he does. That's a great headshot along with Froslev.
Double entry for AGF, but can they get further into the site? The CT utility is locking them out. Flarich, that's a little messy, but converts eventually. Problem bailing him out of the aggressive peak as well, but Froslev not done yet. Eventually put down, leaves Christo on 11, but he can't convert the flick onto Problem. Triple kill again in the series now for Problem. He was performing well on Train and carrying that over against AGF here. As you can see, our partners over at Hellcase at the top. You won't get bored. Use the promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve.
Well, I was about to say this would be a great time for AGF to call a timeout. They do so. And that was a great chance to really try and work out what's going wrong, because HELLRAISERS, no matter what they've been tasked with, seems to just deal with this AGS approach really cleanly and with limited issues, if anything. HR, the one round which they kind of got caught off, was an eco rush towards B, so again, if they go for something quite fast, then that's what HELLRAISERS have to be fully prepared and committed to work with. You can't help but say that one round was purely because HR were too cocky and overextended where they shouldn't have done in apartments. That might be what the Danes now look towards.
They have to drop down onto a couple of Galils. Limited firepower, sending Kit and B straight out mid, but He's going to have to get aggressive before he'll spot anybody. Eventually, it works, though. Straight onto Jalem. He sprints through and immediately into the window as well. Very aggressive play from TMB, countered slightly by the utility. Were the CTs, and that's what gave him the room to work with. He's found Kalinka now, as well as AGF are hunting for their third round. Eventually, Problem dispatches him and secures the 4-on-3 situation, but this has softened up the A site significantly, and AGF can start taking some map control.
Well, it's not quite empty yet. Flouch is still here, and there's still an AWP for HELLRAISERS left on the retake, but it's running out of time to really make an impact. JR at least takes out the player in jungle, and now he really needs Flouch to find something else to maybe extend this attack, and Molotov might be something, but JR has so much more work to do. The quick approach, they got the kills so quickly, and that was the difference. AGF, as soon as they find the openings, they take control and take advantages.
Another full investment coming through from the CT side. They just about had Jalem and JR on enough cash that they could dump some rifles across and make sure the full buy is brought into this round. AGF with a victory here, an opportunity to pad out their own scoreline on the T side and bring this to a much closer affair in the opening half, but JR shutting down any hopes of that at the start of the round, tagging Christo down to 1 off the back of that wallbang as well. Nasty scenes in mid.
You are Netric and AGF. You want to get this next kill back. You want to try and now gain an equalizing affair, if you will. And while Christo on 1 HP is a massive threat with the AWP and with the right timing, he certainly could take advantage of some dodgy HR defending. Christo for now just looks to hold. Lucky. Oh, might be the initial contact point. Flouch isn't looking to really push out. Here's the sound cues, and his teammate in connector does find the kills. Kalinka and Jalem find those two so swiftly, and while an AWP still 1 HP in ramp could pose a threat, Lucky on site has got the kill that might give him some more map control.
So much trouble now is Lucky in towards A, but he's found an opener. The second, too difficult to look for though, and HELLRAISERS now guaranteed the round advantage at the end of this first half. They win the desperation buy that they had to put together in that last round, and now they make AGF second guess themselves in terms of the buy. They have to drop down onto simply upgraded pistols, or it looks like they'll content with dumping the full economy in the end there. They go for the full forces. It's just a couple of players who are below 2,000 or so, with TMB keeping enough in the bank to buy an AWP up into the next. HELLRAISERS doing a great job at the start, and now they need to focus on closing out this half.
Well, they don't clear Lucky in connector. He gets 2 of them so swiftly. A third, oh, it's there. Problem deleted. And AGF, as soon as they get 3 quick kills in mid, now force HELLRAISERS into a much more concerning and unwanted position. They are even smoked off. Isn't going to help his side's chances of really converting anything here. Netric gone. Damage gets 1 back, but again, looks to be a save. And again, HELLRAISERS struggle to keep hold of that B site.
They do indeed, and they suffer a bit of a reset as a result of that one. These 2 rifles have to be saved forward to the next round. There's not going to be very much firepower brought in to support them. AGF, they still have a chance to keep this close in the half, and that's the key. Avoid an 11-4 or a 12-3 scoreline. 10-5, it's still not ideal, but anything towards that region or above is absolutely positive. As they have 4, you'll imagine they'll be looking ahead at least for the 9-6 at this point as a best case scenario, but the 8-7 certainly possible if they can keep breaking the HR economy.
Lucky just gifted those angels. The second headshot was nice. The third one even better, and low on HP, just wasn't allowed to do anything whatsoever. So lucky that they didn't do much damage to him either. They've got 4. They can still look to close and bring this back. And looking at HELLRAISERS' money, it does mean that they've got a chance to really force some more damage. Limited utility. A chance to maybe play fast towards B.
TMB in the aggressive angle, but he has to wait for his side before they go for the all-out push, and it's another full B execution on the cards. Problem removed immediately, but Kalinka, he's still alive on the Deeg. Slowly they hunt him though, and eventually they aggress. He can't do anything at that point. Jalem now found after only one, but it's enough time that's been bought as JR, in serious amount of trouble, decides to head to a more passive position and just wait this one out. He's got the AWP at range, and it's AGF who are yet to plant the bomb with it out in the open. They're going to have to aggress through and bait out some shots here. JR perhaps knows it, and that's Frozlev put to an early grave. Now tricked on just 7 HP. Now has to aggress into an AWP, and Flaric, they're actually backing off into the A bomb site here. Perhaps they don't know that Netric had to go aggressive to pick up that bomb. They think this could still be A.
Well, all of a sudden, he might have an advantage and a slight chance of really converting this one here with 35 seconds to play. His utility is lacking. His armor, somewhat tagged. But it's his health that's the most key thing that's critically there's concern. 20 seconds. HR aren't pushing. He has to now make this move. He now has to find this kill. And if he walks into the window at the right time, he might take the AWP out. JR, you know what, might get caught out. Does he want the not? What? Have they missed each other?
Yeah, Netric just got timing so hard there. That's absolutely unbelievable. JR walked through the window, and then as soon as Netric starts running, because he's only peeking market to make sure there's nobody there, and the only reason he thinks there's no one there is because JR's gone through the window. He starts sprinting because there's no time left to plant, and at that point JR knows he doesn't have to take a shot until the player's stationary. He's charged straight out onto the site, and an unfortunate one there for Netric, lost actually due to over caution, and that's going to allow HELLRAISERS the knife.
Oh, credit to JR for getting that kill, but TMB at least getting that one back does keep this a somewhat equal affair. He has been tagged up though, so the M4 and connector luckily isn't going to touch him. Christo, he just wants the time, and he wants a CT player to really peek him, and not given a chance. A missed shot gives up the weapon. But now this approach towards A certainly could be deadly. But the M4 on stairs, in fact, falls first.
Frozlev comes out on top of that engagement towards the B bomb side. At least his teammate is lurking about there. TMB has total control over it. That's why AGF are currently wandering out of ramp. They're leaving Frozlev here in firebox, and isolated, he's easily swept up. Now JR has to be incredibly careful. He looks like he's already worried that TMB could be on the close angle. That's good game sense now for HELLRAISERS, as they are going to peek this angle as if there's someone there, and that's the vital kill, because now this bomb site is not free for AGF.
They still want to commit to it though. That's a mistake. The AWP just takes advantage. JR might even get the second one. The AWP scoped in. Well, at least gets taken out by the M4. It got concerning. HR now can look towards 11, because look at AGF's money. It's not there. It's impossible to think that they can get a decent bite out of this. When I've got one AK from this, mostly just SMGs and the Eagles and the other few players. So far from perfect, far from ideal. Map that HR have an advantage on can now look to extend it. 11. AGF don't pick up this one.
The opportunity for that 11-4 dominant scoreline very much now on the cards for HELLRAISERS. Connector aggression being attempted now from AGF. This short play could shut it down, but not if it overextends. Kalinka will find one. JR on the second and Jalem on the third. 2 pistols left for AGF in the round as Problem mops one of them up, and Frozlev towards top mid. 5 Deagle headshots needed, 1 found, but a nade's already hit him straight in the face. 11 more points of health to work with. Puts in 1 bullet from death, and he'd have to land 4 perfect ones against his headshot. It's Problem that cleans him up at the end, and HELLRAISERS showing us exactly why they chose Mirage as the first map of the series.
This is the exact same scoreline they were winning by in that opening best of 1 on train earlier this afternoon against Honoris, and They ended up winning that 16-6. So what's to say they can't produce a similar performance here as expected? It is Jalen on top. The odds, I think we can all agree with those from our partners at LukeBet, 1.09, favouring HR.
Absolutely. AGF in this map. There's no chance for them to come back in if they don't win the pistol, I'll have to say that. You have to imagine, if HELLRAISERS take this pistol, that's 12 guaranteed and then 14 to be expected as the scoreline that they convert. It looks as though there might be some technical problems at the start of this round. Perhaps AGF just taking a bit of an extended discussion about where they want to defend. They gamble stack A is the right call here, and HELLRAISERS are walking straight into the stack.
Oh, they've got smoke on stairs, but nothing towards CT. HELLRAISERS have no issues finding the kills, but it's towards Ninja that would have been a concern. Christo got one before falling. They clear the angles, they know what to do. Frozlev, the last player, now hiding in CT spawns. Got to find 4 of them, and I'd love to say this is winnable just to give them some faith and hope, but it's been a HELLRAISERS dominant performance on Train. It's again a similar one here on Mirage. USP, now hopeful, now praying. HR, now they start to push.
4-man stack on the A-bomb. HELLRAISERS just walk out, no respect, and hit every Glock headshot on the way in. AGF can only get 1 kill in that stack of the A-bomb side, and now they're looking towards the force buy to try and wrestle back momentum of the half in the early stages. It's going to be very difficult for them to pull off with just the pistols, especially considering how strong HELLRAISERS look here on Mirage. It's another 3-man stack in the A-bomb site with a quick rotator in the form of Christo from window, but the fake noise over on the B-bomb site's already drawing rotations.
Well, that trick does get the initial one, Perns and a Molotov, so it's more or less a great trade from HELLRAISERS' point of view. And the player towards under, well, deleted by a nade. Frozlev and Kalinka do trade out on kills, but the Deagles so far, you know what, have done pretty good damage. Frozlev now looks to extend his tally. Christo from behind really has to step up. 6 kills. He's been the quieter individual this game. As the Eagles take a lot more damage, I feel like from behind, that's going to be the key player.
He can deal the damage here. He's the one not expected, but he's whiffing the opening shots. It takes too long to convert, and now with his position given away, he's able to convert a second. His teammates have to work in conjunction with him peeking the stairs. They tag Flaric to 88, but he's got 2 shots to try and convert at the moment. They're doing a great job at only peeking him one at a time, but eventually the critical shots land. Monstrous headshots from Flaric to bail HELLRAISERS out of a very troubling round. Eventually they get through that force, and as AGF should be looking towards the eco, they decide based on kills, they're just going to go for the investment.
I can fully understand that idea also, that they want to just invest to try and put pressure on the HR money going forward. I didn't realise that first shot hit at first. It was to do with the tick rate. HR 13-4 up. And I want to just mention Christo. He had 26 kills at the end of that game against Crazy. Currently has 8. He's not even the top fragger at the moment. That trick fragger wants to just spam work with the Deagle. We got the bomb dropped for a moment. Clink and Jalen just had little issues getting the trade kills.
No reason now for HELLRAISERS to be overextending. The Deagles have to peek into them and their dangerous prospects. Let's not aggress and peek our heads out for no reason, boys. 3-on-3 situation. Christo finding the 1-tap onto Problem, making this imminently war winnable. Kalinka's only on 29 HP in the site, but JR looking to protect him, gets the 2nd kill on short, and this could already be the recovery. JR, he's the man to step up big in this round with 3 kills of his own, and HELLRAISERS now 2 away from taking us to Inferno, and AGF have a wrecked bank from all these forces.
And it feels like they've got so much work to do just to stay in Mirage. They've got to get 10 rounds before they can even tie up the scoreline. That, and the idea that for now you're forcing out again into what's mainly FAMAS weapons and scouts. And if you look at the utility levels as well, so lacking, so limiting. They've already lost all the utility that Frozlev started off with. That was damage. Hold on, Christo, that was a good shot. Bit damage anyway, but most of it went towards Kalinka, so HR, in fact, under pressure first.
Utilizes the timing through the spam, but it's JR who's finding an easier time playing with smoke. He gets the first kill with an AWP. You can tell AGF, they want to contest the middle with TMB and Co. Deploying utilities, lurking around with the FAMAS, and that nade does land deep and deal damage, but AGF are going to need the kills at some point. Kalinka spotted out. I don't know if they have the utility to effectively root him out of this position, and Frozlev in connector, he instead has to swing out. He's run all the way up looking for Kalinka, spamming around and giving his position away though, and now they re-aggress. Eventually Kalinka's found, but they're still at the man disadvantage, AGF.
Well, it's damaged by TMB, at least delivered, but still, they're in an awkward scenario. I think they've now just made the call to back off and play safe. There's no reason now that AGF do need to overextend. There's players now pushing short and also controlling apartments from the HELLRAISERS point of view. And once we see an AGF kill here, I don't know if there's a chance. The AK, in fact, finds the first one. The FAMAS on site, well, it was good for one. Scout now looks for some damage. It gets 2 shots converted. In fact, this could be damage towards Flowich as well, but the AK shuts him out. A nice valiant attempt, but HELLRAISERS now find map point in their favor.
Ever so close there, but AGF, despite that long drawn-out battle in mid, they aren't able to convert anything into a round. 15-4 up. HELLRAISERS here on Mirage, certainly in home territory, is now up against just the FAMASes and the MP9. They're looking to put the final nail into AGF's coffin. They want to attack the A-bomb site. They're just going to hold for that CT utility early on, though. These FAMASes might get aggressive further. Flowich is waiting to punish that.
Here come the smokes. HELLRAISERS. This doesn't look really anything unique or anything original, but they still lose that opening kill. Lucky up close, does get blinded, so it's a problem at least with the trade kill, but Frozlev means AGF have kept an advantage momentarily. They're low on utility. And HELLRAISERS for now just haven't got a clear option towards either site yet.
Frozlev's got an AK and Netrix kills Kalinka. This won't be the round that ends the game, that's for sure. The aggression on A actually works out there for AGF, and they might have bought themselves a little bit of time. I think HELLRAISERS can just about buy up into the next one, but it's not comfortable. There's a chance for ADF to put a few more rounds on the board here, make it a slightly more competitive map, as they do pick up 5, and maybe HELLRAISERS, they consider just the full eco in this one to put themselves on the better guns. They're so far ahead, surely they just want all the gun rounds they can get at this point.
I think that's the best option. Allow AGF maybe a chance back into this, but with it, allow your bank to reset, but they're fully going for this. JR, just instant to get the AK and armor out. And it's a forced buy, which I don't reckon HELLRAISERS could lose too easily, you know. AGF, they should be under pressure, but it shouldn't be that difficult for the Danish squad. For now, the CIS squad look for damage, and for now, it's Lucky to find one, and he looks to double up with a little bit of aggression. 3 players wait to the other side of the wall.
This A ramp aggression has just worked beautifully for AGF every time. The flash normally only ever blinds the front player as well, and you're seeing the refrag attempt in action. Problem converts a 3rd kill, but he's looking around for an AK on 3 HP, and he doesn't have the bomb in his hand just yet. Now it's picked up, but there's a flank on the way and a player in front of him, so he can't safely bail out to the B bomb site, but there's a minute to work with on the clock. He could still wander about and at least put a bomb down to give that bonus cash to his side.
10 HP. It feels like it's going to be so difficult just to even get onto the site at this point here. There's a player in connector, TMB. Yet to find a kill this round. Could certainly find something, but they're playing this quite defensive. They're trying to play this together. AGF know that their best option is to just try and avoid going for the one-on-one aim duels. Making minimal noise. Problem now looks for maybe kills 22 and 21 to clock off and finish the round. And it was close. It was certainly damaging and scary. TMB wins it. AGF at least gets 6. And now surely HELLRAISERS go for the eco.
Has to be the call here. Save those pistols, save that money. Go forward to the next round when you're going to have rifles, maybe even an AWP to work with. And you're under no pressure, realistically speaking, on Mirage whatsoever. The round deficit is just so great that they can run around and do pretty much whatever they want for the next 5 or 6 rounds without really feeling any pressure at all. The clock even winning the engagement towards mid against Christo. Rifle down, but TMB looking to put a stop to these shenanigans now as he gets 2 back straight away in mid.
They've seen the bombs, so they might as well go and make sure they can keep the kills in their favour. TMB's nade could certainly force JR into a deadly position. Flourish 3 HP actually gets the deagle shot back, so fair play to him for converting that kill. Fozlev finds the last 2, so a joint ace between Fozlev and TMB means AGF now finds 7 on CT Mirage. It's HR's map pick. They've had map point for around 3 rounds now. Having a struggle to really close out, so this gun round might be where it could be a do or die moment for the Danish squad.
The first of many, if they want to come back into Mirage. Again, HELLRAISERS showing their early hand over towards the A bomb site, but AGF this time, they don't want to go for the ramp aggression. It would be too easy to read. Instead, they want to push Palace, and this might not be expected. Problem, he's on the right angle, but he can't convert the sprays. It's JR to recover, and the fact he gets a double is absolutely huge. That's space now for HELLRAISERS to work with, the man advantage in their favor, and it looks like they might want to apply pressure on towards the B bomb site. At least they're going to have a look at going out mid and thinking about an A split.
Well, they've sent 2 smokes in towards jungle and stairs, so AGF might be forced to really focus a lot more on that side. Offered a fake and Kalinka, in fact, it's so well timed to ensure Netric isn't going to be a future concern, but they've got to clear connect. TMB should have had the kill onto the player in jungle. Kalinka gets it back, he gets 2, and with it, HR just about come off better on the ground round. 16-7. They've got Mirage, and they've got a 1-0 advantage in the series.
Indeed then, 16-7 in favor of HELLRAISERS as they take their own map pick, and we look over to Inferno next, where AGF are going to be fighting to stay in this series. It was an incredibly close game against Crazy as well, which perhaps bodes well for HELLRAISERS heading into that second map.
Well, yes, this is now the chance to see if HELLRAISERS can actually demonstrate and show us what they can provide in terms of a good bit of competition here on Inferno. But this is depression now for the Danish squad. They've now got to go back on a map which they just beat Crazy on and see if they can perform maybe the same heroics to come off better here. And even if we get there, we've still got a third map decider just to try and split these 2 sides up. So map 2, at least, that'll be our focus.
The 1-0 lead in favor of HELLRAISERS then in this decider series, with the winner, of course, heading straight into those playoffs. Map 2 of Inferno will be ready very shortly, everyone. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Dominance is the word to describe that first map from HELLRAISERS as they steal away their own map pick 16-7 and send us straight now onto Inferno, where they have the opportunity for a quick route into the playoffs. AGF, their opponents, needing to stand tall now with the reverse sweep for an attempt at preventing themselves from dropping down into an elimination series later on in the day. My name is Protalis, and talking you through this next map with me is Louis. How are you feeling?
Well, it feels like it's going to be quite a big...
Certainly does feel like it's going to be quite a big
good little match, realistically. Sorry, Inferno, like, it's one of those maps where HELLRAISERS... Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Go for it, Louis. Honestly, give us your thoughts and opinions. Yeah. That's what we're dying to hear.
Well, HELLRAISERS, to me, they've played this map quite a few times. They've got mixed results on it. It's a bit of a hit and miss for them. They've obviously come into this on the back of what was a great win on Mirage. JR, of course, he was one of the best players. 21 kills, 9 deaths, a KD ratio of 2.3 is just phenomenal. And you compare that to the best player, TMB, who only got a KD of 0.84, which just kind of shows how one-sided it was in some respects. It shows that HR were more than dominant and more than controlling in it. And that's where AGF just now have to step up on their map pick.
Yeah, indeed. Battle of the AWPs there in this head-to-head statistically. And obviously, it's JR who reigned supreme in that one. He had a brilliant game over on Train as well, earning himself 24 kills against Honoris early on. So he certainly seems to be awake and warmed up, looking forward into today's matches. And that is an incredibly positive factor if you're a HELLRAISERS fan, as you look over into Inferno and the last 3 matches that HELLRAISERS have played on Inferno in Malta Vibes, they've won all of them, including a best of 1 against AGF.
Yeah, that helps knowing that you've played against your opponents and you've taken a win from them before on this map. So realistically, it shows that they've got a lot of a chance of really going for the 2-0 here, but don't count out AGF yet. I felt there were signs of hope towards the end of that Inferno match when they, on the Mirage game, when they were on the CT end of things. They weren't entirely knocked out. They weren't entirely eliminated from it, but they just turned up too late from my point of view. So if they have a better start, if they turn up a little quicker this time, then what's to say they can't go on and get a win here on Inferno?
Well, in Malta Vibes, AGF, despite this being their map pick, they haven't had the most success on it. Obviously, they did win that best of 1 against Craig, but that was narrow, and it really could have fallen away as they nearly threw the 13-9 lead. Now we're ready to get straight into that knife round. Both sides going to be vying for that easier CT sides to start, and it's AGF who are under pressure now in the series.
Well, if you are AGF, you want to maybe look towards just about the CT side. Not had a chance to fully look at the stats, but I feel as though you would want CT end on Inferno. Historically, it has been, but a good chemistry and a good team performance doesn't mean that you're not necessarily knocked out instantly if you do start on that T side. Late to the knife round, but slowly getting into it. And I missed the good old days when you had a knife round, everyone would just go into it. It seems like we're in this mess at the moment where online everyone just, wants to be delayed, wants to have a little performance, a show match. That's not what we're here for.
We're here for an actual match, and we are certainly going to get one. I feel this could be an incredibly close affair. It went all 30 against Crazy in that opening map from the AGF side, and now against HELLRAISERS, their opportunities to earn an early playoffs spot disappearing if they lose out here on Inferno. We're all set going into the first pistol and taking a look at the odds from our partners over at LootBet. They are going to be favoring AGF going into this one, ever narrowly so as it's their map pick, but the odds reflect it too. This one could be all up in the air.
It certainly is open for debate. AGF at least get the CT start. They've got Netric with 2 flashes and a defuse kit. HELLRAISERS, their utility lands on JR's shoulders. No kind of flash is what he's got to work with, but Froslev already forced to back away, forced to play it safe. A lot of HR presence going quickly towards long, and while they could wrap around to CT, they're not quite going to work with it. Problem already getting the opening kills with JR, and AGF haven't even responded once yet.
HELLRAISERS have been brilliant in the pistols so far today. Christo is completely alone and he can't even find JR, who's just on 5 points of health. It's another dominant pistol round for the HELLRAISERS, and on the T side of Inferno, it's going to be all important on the more difficult side of things for them to get off to a good start. They're looking at a minimum of 6 rounds necessary in the half for that good chance of victory on the CT side, and the pistol round, the perfect way to start things off.
Well, AGF, it's a mixed picture on there, and they've more or less fully committed towards this. Christo, the only player who hasn't invested in anything at all. And while I expected a bit of an aid stack, AGF in fact just stacked 4 players towards the top of middle. The new setup really that CT sides are gone for on these anti-eco rounds. One, from their point of view, an eco round. JR finds TMB, so the only defender on B dealt with. But AKs, if they enter this mid-angle, could really be under pressure.
Instead, they back out towards Banana, where it's just Netric who has to defend the B-bomb site. Eventually, he's going to be smoked off of his angle as well, but that advanced smoke, at least enough to slow HELLRAISERS down. It's not enough to deter them completely from the site, as this utility dump will predicate full-on execution. You have to imagine they're actually waiting for pistols to re-aggress into Banana at this point, expecting some kind of advanced positioning from AGF here before they do go for that execution, eating the time away that they have to work with. And now they will eventually walk into that free site, and AGF, if they want to attempt the retake, they're welcome to go for it, but the better call would be saving these Deagles and armor into the next round.
HELLRAISERS still being quite controlling about this approach. They've not gone instantly for the rush and the bomb plant. They've cleared all the angles. They've tried to just make sure it is safe. It's like, hold on, there isn't surely any more players here, are there? There was one player already dead at the start. Netric took damage on his approach towards B, but as you said, they've gone for the armor save. They've gone to keep what they've got. AGF will just look towards maybe a follow-up eco to this one. HR, they do well to get to. Now they'll look to keep the AKs, try and minimize losing these. Try and build up their early economy game.
Can't be a buy in this next round from AGF. That would be really poor economic play at the start of the half. Just eco at most by upgraded pistols and nothing more. See if you can use the Deagles that have head armor to do the brunt of the damage in this round, but you should be expecting this one to go HELLRAISERS' way, and you don't want to overinvest to try and steal it away in the unlikely scenario. They'll do just that. They'll keep the eco together. Obviously, the correct call to go with. And HELLRAISERS now, they should have an opportunity to close this one out cleanly, but the Deagles can always do damage.
Just a reminder also, AGF, when they had pistols in that Mirage game, they didn't always let HELLRAISERS come off too easy. They always challenged them. And now Jalims might be the first player challenged towards this B stack from AGF. A Deagle up close, Netric looks to the first point of contact, and while the MAC-10 rushes him and eliminates him at ease, there should have been a trade out of it. Lucky got one, but it's still a MAC-10, and it's still easy work from JR's point of view. Easy eco frags, still yet to die. Last player on A falls. Even TMB with a lot of work to do. Nothing to save, just to hunt for damage.
I mean, all he wants to do at this point is walk out Banana and salvage one of those weapons. The only thing on his mind at this point, and JR sat there making sure that that cannot happen whatsoever. You don't want any AKs to be salvaged by this AGF side. It's going to give them economic breathing room that you otherwise would not have to sacrifice, and has eventually TMB does start wandering forward. JR not quite looking the right way to fend off against this one. It's a Mac 10 in front of TMB, but he doesn't want to pick it up. He just switches straight to the Deagle instead. Only the minor upgrade as he looks for the late round damage now, but is not at range or the angle to be able to get it done.
Well, here comes the investment from both sides. In fact, Christo has an AWP, JR the same weapon, M4s. And a Mac 10 still on TMB as he looks to just build up his bonus money and look to build up his individual bank. They're still going to be up against a full AK purchase with lots of utility available for both sides going forward. I'd like to see who can come off better in this mid encounter. JR scoped in towards Banana. And for now, 3 players are looking to aggress for AGF. The Molotovs, but Banana in CT territory. Deep smoke. Certainly a welcome advantage to the Danish squad.
An absolute utility dump in Banana. It's going to prevent HELLRAISERS from getting any kind of map control there. Instead, they divert their efforts towards the A bomb site, and TMB ensures there's nobody lurking around in the smoke, but they begin now a quick rotation as HELLRAISERS start to make their way into this A site. There are 3 players actively defending, including an AWP with 2 more quick rotations well on the way. HELLRAISER, they're in a sticky situation during this execute, one that is all set to go wrong as long as the timing favors AGF. Eventually, HR walk in, but Christo puts a stop with the opening AWP. Kalinka finds 1 kill, but Christo still going big. Jalen replies with 1, but JR, he's left alone out towards mid. That push from the B rotations working out brilliantly and giving AGF their first.
What a positive hold also. You thought that HELLRAISERS might have had some advantage really trying to find the kills, but AGF, they do the work and they make it look easy. But JR now left standing, looks to try and avoid his first death. Kill 7 is confirmed, but 2 more, both on site, and with 24 seconds, or at this point 15 seconds to play. He certainly has a lot more work to do. Eagle peek, a flash over. Up close, Frozlev looks for the damage. Quite a close attempt. JR can't come off better, so it's an opening round from the Danish side of AGF.
They lose 3 players, which is going to cause a significant reinvestment from the AGF side and drain their cash reserves down rather low, which makes the CT side slightly weak to this HELLRAISERS full buy. If they can claim the win, they can get the momentum back and they can deal a sickening blow to this AGF economy. Christo aware of it, holding mid with his AWP. That last round, realistically, it was all won by firstly AGF taking this dominant banana control, and then through the quick rotations that allowed that flank into the A side.
Be so hopeful, so ambitious to really get something done through the smoke, but again, HR don't want to work with Banana. They denied it quite early on, so they now have to maybe work towards it somewhat later. And while this happens, they've also got apartments control. They've also got a chance to really aggress towards a stacked A site again. That's not the idea that Problem wanted. Molotov at his feet, blocking the boiler entrance. Minutes to play. No entry sound yet. An opening kill. HELLRAISERS now look to really utilize heading up towards B.
Oh, the timing of the flash, it doesn't work out for HR. It lets Christo get 2, nearly 3 kills with the AWP as he backs now into A. HELLRAISERS get 1 on the refrag. Frozlev falls on the A bomb site, actually, and Kalinka, having secured this part of the map, calls the rotation, but knows he has to hold true for these B players, knows where Netric might be, but gives his angle away, engages the gunfight, but loses it out to the M4. It's still going to be a stacked bomb site for HELLRAISERS to push into, and they haven't checked pit yet. Eventually, the player gives himself away, but Lucky can convert that kill. JR in the 1-on-1 now, as Lucky continuing to get aggressive. The AWP needs to be bailed out, but it can't do anything against that rifle spam. AGF, they get through the buy and have the opportunity now to develop their own economic momentum.
It felt like that was one that AGF could have easily cleaned up, and it felt like if Kalinka got anything else there, that would have been just more than a welcoming gift. And AGF more than happy to keep that AWPs in their pockets. And gets dropped over to Christo. Again, looks to try and utilize damage. For the first time this game since pistol, we see HELLRAISERS now look towards a pistol gun round. Good set of utility means this won't be quite a fair by any means. They might look up banana, but a run boost with the AWP, but a little too late to really get any damage, but its info still achieved. They saw the HR push up banana.
They've managed to dodge the Molotovs in the majority of cases too. Straight out onto the B bomb site. TMB caught with a nade in hand, and Flarich has found the second entrance onto the B site. HELLRAISERS have gotten in without losing any players. They've recovered 2 weapons, and problems found Frostlev. What on earth has happened in this round? It's a total eco. More dinks coming through onto Christo. AGF just have to back straight out of it. That is an absolute train charge into the B site.
What an upgrade. Also, they've now got an AK, an M4, a FAMAS. They've got a full set of rifles, essentially, and now they can get a full buy going into this upcoming round. So AGF lose, realistically, a lot of damage and a lot of money with it. When they look towards a buy, I don't think it's going to be that amazing. Yes, they've saved an AWP and an M4, but you've got to get some more weapons taken out of this HR buyout.
Really has to be the position of those CT mollies. The fact that HELLRAISERS can get out in front of the majority of them, that's what really allows that rush to come through into the B bomb site and just catch AGF completely unawares. They've saved the AWP and the M4, but the rest of their team can't justify a full investment, and nobody can drop them rifles, so it might be the case of the hard eco in this round for the CTs. Try and equalize that economy and pray Lucky and Christo can do the necessary work with the rifles on the board.
Well, Christo might look for the opening engagement down towards banana. Can't challenge from car. Again, an A dump towards that angle just gives HELLRAISERS an early advantage, and they also cross towards logs, but not without the sound of an AWP. Really now looking to regress forward, and this is such an awkward angle. The flick is good, so Christo gets the opening. AGF get a entry kill defensively. Nade up close won't do too much, but Lucky already pushing in towards middle, and AGF already know what's going to happen towards B.
They've reacted immediately to this B attack, but the opening kills have been garnered by HELLRAISERS, and Christo's AWP can't sing out as he has to protect himself from the fire. The flank's here now, though, and Lucky's gotten 2 massive kills. JR's caught out, but can't even land the flick with the AWP. It all goes wrong there for HELLRAISERS, and this appears to be the real strength of AGF. It's lightning fast rotations. As soon as they got 1 kill on banana, they sent players aggressively out second mid and were able to convert that into the round. Now we have the chance to talk about our case partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and loads more unique features.
Well, an AWP in towards middle. AGF for now won't be allowed to do too much again in banana. Its utility, it smokes the standard, and that more or less gives AGF early map control, because HELLRAISERS can't challenge that too cleanly. Too risky just to push through that one smoke with TMB already up close along with an M4. So quickly again, AGF take advantage of banana. HR again have to look for other avenues of an approach towards either site. A site might be an option. The early smoke and flash in. This should try and force a rotation out. Now AGF aren't too willing. They'll hold and stand their ground.
Nade does limited damage. It's JR who really wants to avoid being found with the AWP. The rifles doing work for AGF. They secure the kill advantage of the smokes, give Netric room to breathe. The P2K finds one more. And Christo so aggressive, lightning fast. Larich not quick enough to punish. He might even go through the smoke. That would be a mistake. But Christo, he's made the mistake by walking back through. Frostlev can bail him out of it. It's all a messy one at the end of things, but eventually it's brought back into the 4-on-4 by AGF now, and HELLRAISERS have to take an eco.
Yeah, going back to this earlier round, which HELLRAISERS won back on an eco, it looked pretty good, Christo. It just got awkward. I'd say it was around that HELLRAISERS one. It's actually one AGF got, because Lucky just was insane. JR not hitting his shots right. But HR, I don't quite want to count him out of this one yet. We've only got Glocks. They've got no utility. Might in fact be an easy AGF win.
Wow. The absolute meat grinder. Towards the top of mid, dispatches quickly with the eco from HELLRAISERS. That's AGF now in the lead here on Inferno. Their map pick, something that will certainly make them happy as we head forward throughout this map. And they really want to have the dominant first half here. As we said, HELLRAISERS targeting 6 rounds at a minimum on that T side to call it a success. And they've been so good in the pistol rounds so far that AGF might just be worried with that as a prospect.
Border nades towards the CT just don't do any damage. Well, limited damage, if anything. Netric down on 90, and his nade in response could really be hurtful, but in fact, they're not quite hitting the spots that they're expected to hit. And now AGF give up Banana. HR, as soon as they play it aggressively, they quickly get the control, and it was a bit more useful considering AGF just have 4 more players over towards A. Blinker for now. Holds and reverses. Didn't quite appearing in bedroom. Holds long. I might now look towards A.
There was initially a 4-man stack on the A bomb site, but eventually AGF rotate TMB back towards that B bomb site, and it might just be the right call, as HELLRAISERS are certainly thinking about some aggression over here. They're trying to bait out a peek from TMB, but he's going to win that engagement. JR just not able to convert with the AK, but look at this positioning already. HELLRAISERS out in CT spawn, but Christo is alive and kicking with the AWP. He's done work. Now Jalem has found a kill on the B bomb site. Flarich knows if he peeks out, he's in serious amounts of trouble, but Christo can't convert the AWP shot. Jalem now can take control of the B bomb site, but he has to find TMB in order to do it. He can't convert that kill, and HELLRAISERS again. It's a really messy situation. What do they decide to go with? Flarich is immensely struggling for this kill, but now he has it. The B bomb site is given away.
They've just about got time for the bomb plant. If they get it down now, problem. He had a smoke in CT, but actually his teammate was there already, so that was fine. Now AGF, both retake, both from Banana. Problem might have a sound cue already given up. The flash, good, but not enough for the kill. That's lucky falling off worse. Frozlev now has to get to him. He's got a kit, so the kill towards CT if found would be ideal. Problem though, allowed to hold on, and HELLRAISERS just about scrape it back in their favor. Certainly a messy one, but certainly one that they'll take on their hunt to at least securing 6 to 7 T-sided rounds.
A super messy round from them over on the B bomb site that they just about cling on to on this T side and keep it tied up at the 5-5 scoreline. AGF come through with that full investment. Money in a bit of trouble if they lose this round, but just a little bit of trouble. That's the key factor there. Would still be able to recover before the end of the half for sure. And now HELLRAISERS, they're going to continue to probe up Banana. They've had way more success towards the B side of the map than they have A, but they can't fall into the trap of constantly attacking that one bomb side. Otherwise, AGF, they'll just start stacking it up.
How much for now? Backs away. HR, they take that early damage. They now look to set up for at least a bit of map control towards the top of middle, towards the balcony entrance. There's Kalinka now looking to try and get this initial entry kill, and the M4 on site just not going to be peeking in his favour. And that's the peak you want. Christo falls, the long player dead. And with no one quite rotating for the B site yet, AGF just keep standing their ground. They want to be given more information to fully commit and fall for the rotation, and with 2 now dead on the A site, you can't help but think HR now head in that direction.
TMB wants to push through the smoke. Netrix here. They can still shut it all down. Look at this. HELLRAISERS, they walk into the 2-man Banana stack, and the whole round is decimated by it. The huge blunder of a tactical call. The complete wrong decision. And now Kalinka is left alone on 11 HP. The last player over on the B bomb site, but with the bomb top Banana, Netric knows it, and he just has to hold true and wait for Kalinka to aggress into him. This should be an easily winnable clutch.
Blunt goes down on site. Didn't go for it. Should have committed to it. That's the mistake there for HELLRAISERS. That's the advantage for Netric. 6-5. Now back on top. If we look at the HR money, I don't think we can really get something good in this round yet. They're still wanting to fully commit towards the purchases. They're spreading out the weapons as our AGF. They've got an AWP out. Christo has no armor in support of that. One for the glass cannon play. That's heavily risky considering you're now against AKs and the Eagles on a Galil.
The double entry on the A-bomb site, but HELLRAISERS too paranoid about the CT rotations, and it costs them hugely in round 11. Now they have limited firepower to work with up in round 12, and AGF with a fundamental opportunity to dominate this half. They could convert even the 10-5 scoreline if they kept their form up now. And HELLRAISERS looking to stop it early. Christo misses the opening shot, but he has space to rotate around should he want to. This A-bomb site could be open, but the B flank's already in position to pounce. HELLRAISERS paranoid about that immediately. JR tagged down, but they are going to push out in towards CT. It's straight into the crosshairs of AGF, and they're quickly dispatched by the Danish side. Jalem even, the last man left alive with the Galil. He's on the B-bomb site, but an open 4, 3 M4s against him. This one definitely belongs to AGF.
I don't think there's a chance really that this lone Russian can maybe clutch this out. This is the time in there. Netrix takes advantage. 7-5 up. AGF out a 2-round lead for what feels like the first time in this game. Time out from HR just to try and see what they can try and do to polish up this T side, because they certainly have hints of life, especially in the opening stages, but AGF, now they've had the AWP and now they've had the chance to really understand this HR approach. They seem to have it off easy, and you can't help but think 1 or 2 lucky rounds in there have certainly swung a few things in their favour also.
You're absolutely right with that call. I'm not even sure if I'd call them lucky rounds so much as doing the right things in dire situations. When they have the limited money available, AGF lightning fast on the rotations over towards that B-bomb site, and it works out brilliantly. When they have limited players available, the two who are stuck in B and not going to be able to do anything about an A attack, well, let's try some aggression towards Banana. What are the options? Either we push here and get a bunch of kills, which is what actually happened, or we push here and there's nobody there, in which case we can begin our quick rotations over to the A site. And if we die, the likelihood was that HELLRAISERS were going to win that round anyway. 3 on the A-bomb site. Just brilliant calling from AGF occurring at the moment, working beautifully. JR has found Christo at long range with the Deagle, but these pistols, they shouldn't be looking for much more than a bomb plant in the round.
That'll be the objective. Get the bomb down. See what more you can find for this. 2-man defense. Forte becomes free. TMB, as he rotates, well, his teammate finds the kill back. Frozlev to eliminate Kalinka. JR looks to just retrieve that looking loss, but it's not quite being given to him. A flash in is just going to cause a few more issues against a perplexed HELLRAISERS side.
Netric has a single kill in Banana, looking to get yet more. JR reigns supreme with the headshot, and he might not be aware that he has an opportunity to run in uncontested towards the B site. That opportunity now given away as the flank rapidly approaching. He turns around at the right second, but can't convert the right shots. Frozlev deals with him, and AGF with 2 more opportunities to make this a more dominant scoreline, and HELLRAISERS looking to tie it up, or at least as close as you can, at 8-7, with a victory in this gun round, converted forward hopefully in the next.
Well, this is a great opportunity for AGF to show us why map 3 should even be considered. Train would be that. And it's a map we saw a dominant HR victory on, so if you need a chance in this series, this is the time to really show up and prove yourselves. Again, the Banana battle, that looks to be an AGF loss. Larich already pushed up towards Cast, so quick in that map advantage. Oh, Molotov just gets sent back in. It's not affecting HR. They are having to fall away though, because those nades are pretty damaging, and now could be concerning.
Huge amounts of utility damage dealt by AGF at the start of this round. Much more at home are the Danes here on Inferno than they appeared to be on Mirage, and it's just the two-man stack in the B bomb side. Actually going to be a singular person defending it if TMB rotated off then. Frostlev has found the first kill onto A, and that's actually triggered a rotation over towards the B bomb site. The Hellraisers lurk. Effectively dealt with relatively consistently throughout this half. The flash works out great for TMB, who further regresses in. 3 massive kills, and he just backs away. He knows his team can deal with the rest of this round. JR has got absolutely no hope, and AGF even, they might just be closing the door on their opponents on Inferno.
A lot more work has to be done though. Few more rounds to at least cement the half.
JR pressured, but TMB just taking him down straight away. Hellraisers now desperate for that 6th round minimum scoreline. Putting 5 on the board is not the total nightmare on Inferno, but I mean, 6 is really what you want to have to work with at this point. And for the last few rounds consecutively, AGF have just looked so dominant. They've looked so in control that against the mixed buy now from Hellraisers, you expect them to perform well once again.
Well, it's hopeful when you look at the purchase that HR have now got, because those early nades could be good for damage, but in fact, no one really from HR does get affected by it. No one actually tagged up, but a great call to really stack towards B. TMB allowed the initial one. HR, they tried to at least pull off a fake, and it could work out considering the HR squad are now looking to group up in apartments. 3 in balcony, the other coming from short. It's going to be a lot of work that Lucky has to do. 1 kill could have become 2, but a pre-fire and awkward angle allows them even 2 kills off of that.
Problem now alone. Mac 10 in hand. It's the last round of the half. AGF. Double digits. A certainty at this point. Problem on 6 HP. He's wandering around and he's picked up an AK. But, I mean, just the points of health too low. There's an opposing HE grenade ready to dump in the pit. Instead it's deployed on the site, but now he gives his position away. And that should be this round all but over. He gets Netric at the very end with the HE, but at long range, Frostlev will find him, and 10 rounds going the way of AGF there on the CT side.
Great performance from the Danish point of view. A good response from what felt like a lacking opening half also. It was a slow departure into this. Look, you saw the first 4 rounds, essentially. They were easily picked up by HR. AGF though on their map pick, well, even favoured when you look towards the odds favoured and provided by our partners at Lootbet 1.1, and I have to agree with that.
Hellraisers looking like they're in a lot of trouble here on Inferno. The pistol, it feels as though that might be a necessity if they want to come back into this map now. AGF, they've got 2 smoke splashes and HEs, which leans itself very nicely towards a B execution. Dump the nades, drop the smokes on CT and coffins, and then the flash allow you to get into the site and blind those early defenders. It means Hellraisers are going to have to go absolutely huge with the USPs.
They've got lots to do. Christopher now allowed the initial one. The USPs are really just to get any damage they can do, and it's a struggle. HR back off. AGF forfeit the right to push. They'll slow things down. They'll just wait for a HR mistake. Kalinka's aggression. Oh, should have been a kill on TMB. TMB almost lucky to be alive when he tried to set off maybe a smoke or something, but that's aggressive. That's confident. It could have been 2, but Frostlev just keeps AGF with at least a slim advantage.
Overextending there, Kalinka for the second kill is what he was hunting for, and it's what AGF prevented him from getting. Now JR, He's decided to push up towards Banana, but that's exactly where AGF are rotating from. It's now going to be quickly into the A site for HELLRAISERS, but AGF are already going to have a plant done before HELLRAISERS can even think about the denial. This second pistol looking guaranteed to go the way of the Danes, and map 3, if they secure this pistol, almost looking a certainty.
Don't see how HR even get onto the site at this point. There's 7 HP, DMB. He's the player most vulnerable to fall, but he's the one doing most of the damage onto Problem at the moment. HR getting hopeful, and even the shots towards the player in Graveyard aren't even converting. 1 total kill found. HR don't do much in pistol. The weakest they've really looked in this series and on the day so far. But this is where AGF can start to show us why Crazy were defeated on this map.
They certainly are. It's HELLRAISERS who decide they want to bring the force buy forward up into the second. That gives AGF the opportunity to go 14-5 up as opposed to 13-5 when you consider when the next HELLRAISER buy would have to come through. JR's been found early already, and with aggression into second mid, HELLRAISERS want to be active in this round, but AGF are just waiting for it, praying for that aggression so they can capitalize, so they can find the opening kills. And if that does go their way, 12 rounds, all but guaranteed.
Another snap towards A isn't the ideal point of view. One towards Coffin and one towards CT. It's pretty standard and compulsory for a standard A hit, but AGF needs to do it as standard. One goes in. AGF should be up to 12. HR again might just look to save the armor and weapons they've got. Mainly pistols, but it's still worth saving just to try and get yourself a good comfortable buy going forward.
There's no need, yeah, you're absolutely right. No need to throw those weapons away in that B-bomb site, going for what would be, I mean, a hopeless retake attempt with 3 pistols and an MP9. Going back in towards that B site. So 9 players going to be alive at the end of this particular round. AGF securing 12 up against what is basically another force from HELLRAISERS in round 18, but that's only because 4 players managed to save their forced weapons into this round. JR could even get himself a little bit of armor if he wanted to, but saving for that AWP, clearly the more important prospect for him. AGF with another decent opportunity to steal 13 away here and look for 14 with a victory in the next gun round.
Again, for HELLRAISERS, they just want to try and get as much damage done onto the opposing side. The nade stack was a standard idea, but Frozlev for now just takes a good chunk of 26 points of damage. I walked in one of the Molotovs for now, though. AGF, T side, allowed to win up banana control. And for now, playing anti-flash or just trying to get a slight gap to maybe spot out something. The info given up means for now the Mac 10 will back off. AGF start this one off slowly. Goblin avoids the nade just about. Still took some damage, and so AGF looked to take advantage of beam.
Smoke deployed in the advanced position. AGF wanting the way in, just waiting for that time to fall away before attempting the advance. HELLRAISERS now, there'd be so much work to do. It's a missed smoke from AGF, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. There are smokes available to actually hit the mark at the end of the round, and these deagles set up on the left-hand side. Gonna have to find a lot of damage on the way in. TMB's already killed one of them. Problem looking for more with it, but it's JR to find the second. Jalem even with the third onto Frozlev. Some lucky spam. JR wants to be careful now in that smoke.
Well, they're pushing through it. Oh no, Christo. They both fall. They get the bomb plant, but that shouldn't have been that easy for HR to pick up. They keep Free alive. They're looking to see what else they can recover. 3 AKs gained from an eco. And what a force by HELLRAISERS come off better. And it felt like it shouldn't have been that easy. AGF, they fall face first into a lava pit, it felt like. Now the deficit down to 6 rounds. HR, a lot more work to do yet, boys. Gun round would be their first point of contact. They won't have an AWP, nor will Christo. Gun round, so vital to see how this game plays out, Portalis.
Indeed it will. HELLRAISERS, it'd be a hell of a grind to try and come back into this map. They'd need 6 on the board just to tie it up. No AWP to utilize to try and get it done at the moment, but they do have the full rifles and they do have that all-important utility as well. This time AGF want to attack the A side of the map, ready to explode out of those apartments and deal some heavy damage. Balaam
looks for the AK kill. JR, in fact, on site, looks so crisp and clean. 3 kills go his way, and TMB and Electric now a lot more work to do if they want to see a positive outcome to the end of round 19. They're both individual, they've both lost the bomb. HR also pushing from Banana and clearing middle ever so carefully. Their approach, but maybe TMB isn't done yet. That was a great kill that Jalen got originally.
It's the clean round for HELLRAISERS. They get through it absolutely perfectly, with no players whatsoever going down. They do defeat that fall by, and they have the opportunity now, as you mentioned, to come straight back into this one. It could be a much more balanced affair than we were expecting in the early stages.
GF on the eco. Is he standard? These are the sorts of rounds which you could really try and be creative with your plays. Try and go for just something chaotic and hopeful, but for now, Netric is the first to fall. Flarich and Jalen, again, just have little issues eliminating the pistols. TMB and Lucky, not even allowed to even get towards the site. HR's defense has already cleared Banana, obviously. Last player hiding in bedroom. Lucky might find his opponent, but problem isn't problem. At least for himself. 12-8.
Well, HELLRAISERS starting to close the gap. Excellent work from JR to find those headshots. And really just keeping this gap nice and close at this point. AGF with an opportunity to extend their lead and perhaps finish things off in the first map here. And that could be definitely the prospect that they are hunting for. Still no AWPs to work with as their economy strained. They want to go aggressive towards Banana, but it's JR up mid who's found the opener. Trades back and forth, but eventually they go HR's favor.
Well, it's this aggression which suddenly comes up, which really pits AGF in an awkward position, but they've lost the advantage once again. They've got almost had a chance to enter towards A, but with Flarich finding his kill back, it just means HR now have this advantage now. They've got players still on A and even on B, so no matter what happens, Problem might still find a kill, and TMB so low. He's narrowly escaping that. And he hasn't got an A to really utilize to take out this opponent. Lucky will now be the entry fragger towards Fountain, but he falls. Problem gets them both. HR, again, win another gun round, and now they're fighting back into this game.
They are indeed. They want to bring this one back. They want to remain competitive on Inferno at the moment. They've dropped AGF back onto the force in this particular round. Just pistols and armor for that Danish T side at the moment. They'll be looking to use that utility to great effectiveness, but certainly expecting this to be a HR round.
Pistols, a rush up Banana roll. They've got a trade kill from it, an AK now. Certainly could do work. The AWP misses Electric, so do a lot more than expected, but Kalinka doesn't have too many issues. The bomb even miles away from a plant, so HELLRAISERS now start to build up this momentum, start to build up this confidence, which got them 2 easy wins earlier today. And this cleanup by Kalinka was so nice.
It was indeed a great recovery. Could have been a real overwhelming of that B bomb site there, but does a great job at staving off that initial wave, putting Hellraisers on double digits, and now they face off against another AGF full buy, but they have an opportunity to come straight back into the map.
Oh, the Orcs missed a shot. It's chaos from AGF. They can't find the initial kills anymore. TMB's the only one who's got a kill back. HR, they've woken up. A completely different performance, and from AGF starting this half off really strongly, now look struggling and now look like they are under pressure.
Advancing towards the B bomb site. Molotov denying entry at least early on though, and that's perfect flash there. Kalinka swinging out and finding a headshot, and Christo on the AWP left alone now in the banana angle, surrounded by Hellraisers, and this has to be obviously the 11th round unless he can pull off an individual miracle.
What connects? One kill found, an AK now recovered. Only a more viable weapon, and JR really could have fallen there. A missed shot, but luckily for him, no damage taken. Bomb plant is a massive bonus for AGF's economy. Loss bonus obviously building up.
Problem securing the kill as well. One away now from the tied scoreline of Hellraisers and AGF. My word, it seems like just a moment ago when they had the opportunity to close this one out at 12-6. Hellraisers have come all the way back into things now. It's going to be another buy from AGF, but check out the odds from our partners over at LootBet. By the second, they favor more and more towards Hellraisers, and anybody at the moment who bet on HR at the start of the second half might just be a happy bunny.
Well, they've got to hope that the comeback actually gets completed first. AGF, they looked unstoppable roughly 6-7 rounds ago, but HR now, they've been given this gift to get back into this. AGF, this will be a full gun round at least. TMB could possibly drop an AWP over to Christo, so they won't be lacking in that department. But all of a sudden, it was this aggression which just came out from the CT's point of view. It looked strong. It looked very hopeful. And for AGF now, you've got to start hitting your shots. You've got to start really getting a bit more confidence in your system.
Absolutely has to be the case now. Oh, JR can't land that opening shot. Christo finds his head instead. With this, the AGF at the late stage is taking back control. Well, Problem's got a quick reply already. Straight back into the 4-on-4 now. As AGF, as quickly as they earn the advantage, they throw it away. Problem with an aggressive position on banana, but A site is the target of AGF, and Hellraisers have rotated everybody away other than the man in the pit. Flarich has now fallen, and yet again it looks like a tactical blunder from Hellraisers to give a round over to AGF.
There's the flash in, but Jalen, for now, not allowed to find anything in middle. Problem gets caught out. Kalinka now looks to trade out. Christo deletes him, and Hellraisers on this retake aren't allowed anything. Surely they heard the dink. They should have the info of this last player, definitely now. 1M4 will at least get one kill. Lucky in pit will be lucky enough to stay alive. 13 for AGF. It took 7 rounds for them to respond, and my words, did they shut and knock out Hellraisers.
They can still go for the guns, though. The CT side, it's the pressure that has severely mounted at this point. Hellraisers, they've done a great job at coming back as far as they have, but they need to push it over the line eventually and actually pull away into the lead. They need to get through this gun round here. And again, a couple of times throughout this map, there have just been some confusing calls for my money from the Hellraiser side. I'm not sure why they rotate everyone on to B after just winning 1 kill with some aggressive banana play. Nobody even pushing through the opening smoke for that AGF side, and somehow they believe that they're fully committed in towards the B bomb site. A really odd call for me to rotate everyone over in that last one, but hindsight, of course, being 2020, HELLRAISERS need to focus on the upcoming round, and it is AGF attacking B this time.
Well, a perfect set of smokes to really block off what was going to be played down towards Banana. Not quite a nade towards Sandbag, not even a Molotov towards Sandbag. Kalinka goes unchecked and he can take advantage. 2 kills, and it could become 3 if Frozlev now makes a mistake hiding in car. The flash is in. Problem now pushes, and it's a trade kill. Problem gets them both. An individual could have kept him in this.
And 2 HP though, Christo. What does he decide to do with the round? Puts the smoke in CT and is using the Molotov to try and buy himself room, but he himself knows 1 bullet is all it'll take to remove him from the round eventually. It's not the nade to do it, it is the bullets of Jalem. And HELLRAISERS, again, just 1 away, but I think AGF can still salvage a full buy. That conversion from Kalinka, that was really beautiful in towards the top of Banana. Finding those opening kills. A decent nade there, dealing damage onto Christo and TMB, but not quite the dunk that could have occurred. AGF, they've got apartments control, and this time Netrix had to drop down onto a Mac 10 instead of an upgraded rifle that perhaps the rest of his side are utilizing. JR has to get away from the close angle. That's a very quick shot to bail himself out, and the second through the smoke. Heroic effort as HELLRAISERS, with the 2 opening kills, look to continue their defense. Jalem gets 1 before falling, but Flaric is still in this smoke. He's dodged the Molotov, but Netric has the presence of mind to find him, and Frozlev as well onto Problem has brought it straight back into a 2-on-2.
They've got to clear short the AWP. Well, JR takes advantage. Netrix now needs a quad kill. If he wants to come off a winner in this encounter, and they are split up, they can give him the one-on-one angels. But now, Netrix doesn't get a clear chance. He wants to find Kalinka. He wants to maybe bait him out, and he does do. Kalinka finds the bullet. HELLRAISERS find a 13th round.
It is all tied up. HELLRAISERS on the comeback on this CT side. And AGF, what do they go for here? It's not even the full buy. It's just the pistols and armor. This is the opportunity for HELLRAISERS to take the lead in the second half after losing out 10-5 on their T side and then losing the pistol round in the second half. HELLRAISERS have dug deep, brought it back to a tied scoreline, and AGF at the moment struggling to break through the CIS defense.
We said earlier on today how some teams on their half buys do look towards that 15k mark. Frozlev has even gone below that. It's such a unorganized approach in terms of weapons. AGF still want to try something, but they don't clear Jalem. He gets 3. Combined with Problem and Flaric, they make it look so easy. And now up to 14, they need 2 to beat out AGF in a map the Danes look to have closed out so easily. They throw it away, and this T side isn't going to plan, Ben.
It is certainly not. HELLRAISERS doing an impression of a Lamborghini in that round and really quickly putting an end to the round at a very fast pace indeed. Now it's them who insanely, it seems, have the first opportunity to take map point here on Inferno. TMB's tried some aggression up Banana. This time, HELLRAISERS aren't going to fall for it. They aren't going to re-ingress. Instead, they rotate 1 player passively over towards this A site and hold for the AGF advance.
They are. Looks to send some utility down.
the damage is dealt by it early on. And AGF. Now, again, want to target the B-bomb side. Flash onto JR. He's whiffed the second shot. Now he's in trouble, but Problem has at least gotten one kill on the way in. Now JR's in trouble. The double nades have actually found him, rooted him out of the bomb site. TMB is very low indeed, but it's still the 4-on-4 retake that Hellraisers are going to have to pull off. They've got to play it perfectly here too. They can't afford to overextend angles like this. TMB so low, narrowly allowed to escape. Netric finding the first kill of the round through smoke in this retake, and now it's back on for Hellraisers. They're trying to find a way back in, but TMB has an AWP on the defense. They have to root so many players out. Problems found the first. Flarich on to TMB as well, and Netric. It's all on Lucky, who's deep in Banana to hold true for this retake, slowly aggressing forward. They expect the angle, and he gets them both. The double spray down, and it will be 14 for AGF.
What a hold down. What a close affair that really was. Lucky. Just a perfect spray. Made it look easy. Now with it. Again, Hellraisers seem to get pegged back. And AGF, a great chance to fully commit, but they don't have an AWP, which JR will have. The AWPer for HR. Picking that weapon quickly towards middle. There'll be some quick utility damage up towards car. Exactly where at least one of the CT players wanted to head towards. Linker and Problem don't quite fall for the bait. Nice utility in both sides. TMB forced low, and he's on 25 HP.
He's lucky to be alive. Hellraisers have to be careful though. If they overextend in this, they could lose the man advantage first. Problem sat in fire still at this point. Why has he walked straight back into it? He has to get away from the bullets, and that's the overextension I was talking about. Immediately he falls, and Kalinka tries to go out Banana as well. It just does not work out. Now, there is so much pressure on JR with the AWP. Hellraisers, they should have played it more passive there.
They've gone a bit too aggressive. They've not really played Banana correctly or safely, and now this could be a problem unless this all converts to kill. 20th kill is what JR wants. He can't get it for now. 3 players now look to overwhelm him. Oh, on Angels, he's got a chance. Christo knocks him out. It's a 2-on-2 in mid. Lucky beats Jalen, but Flarich trades out. A very winnable 1-on-1, but it's a big one for Christo on 20 HP.
He's going to push actively in towards CT for this one. Flarich is coming from Banana, which makes you think Christo has the positional advantage in this. Even though the HP is against him, the pressure's on Flarich on the retake. And this is for map point. It's a 14-14. You don't get many more high-intensity clutches than this. Flarich, he swings round the corner, but Christo is just too quick. He bails them out of the round, and that over-aggression from Hellraisers. JR tries to save them from it behind the sandbags. But again, it's tactical mistakes costing these rounds, it feels like.
Too aggressive, like you said earlier, down on Banana. HR, they were too hopeful. They were too anxious to really get the kills. It felt like that's all they wanted, and a pause for AGF, in fact, will certainly put a bit more annoyance and anger onto this HR squad. Hellraisers maybe gives them a good chance to work out what the best option is. Look at their weapons, it's not ideal. A pistol on Kalinka, surrounded by an M4, an AWP, and 2 MP9s. AGF's money is gonna at least get them what should be a full buyout. The weapon's going to favour the Danes. CT and the map in general should be favouring Hellraisers on the CT end. AGF on their map pick. They won 16-14 against Crazy earlier. Now let's see if they can win against HR 16-14 here in map 2 of this winners match.
Hellraisers would be very frustrated with that outcome. So much effort to come back this far into the map and then to throw it all away at the end. Just a nightmare scenario to be in. AGF, why not look towards B? It's worked in the last few rounds. Been able to punish Hellraisers quite severely. And again, what is this call? Hellraisers stack everybody over towards the A bomb site. Total gamble, leaving JR alone. He's found an opening kill. They finally call problem back in towards this B-bomb site, but JR, he's doing insane work at the beginning of the round. Expected to be a close player. How is he still getting these kills? Early triple opening from the AWP, and that might just be enough to take Hellraisers to overtime.
AGF, they've looked strong, really entering the A sites before. They'll again try for it. And Apartment's lucky, well, defeats Flowage. Now you've just got 2 more players to find on A. The AWP right beyond the pressure now. Now gets mollied off the angle. Also, but problem on site could still cause a problem for Lucky and Frozlev. Gotta be about time, and HR can't aggress too much. They've now got to play the safer angle. They've now got to let AGF walk to them, come to them. 25 seconds to go for Talis. Now, for AGF, you've got to find this next kill over on A.
They're hungry for it, certainly. Do they expect the library position to be being held with the AWP? They can't do it. Hellraisers, they are going to take us to overtime, 15-15. They don't quite let things slip away just yet.
Oh, AGF, they're going to be gutted with that. 12-6 up at one stage of that map, and they've let more or less the CIS team come straight back into it. The heroics from JR. In the past few rounds, he has been individually trying to step up his game. 25 kills, far from what he deserves. Christo 21-17. One of the few players going positive for the Danish squad. I don't want to say that AGF are out of this quite yet, but that's a massive mistake. That's concerning. To not close this map out in regulation time. They needed 4. Instead, HR are allowed that long route back, and they somehow achieve it.
Just about. It felt like they might have been choking that comeback towards the end. Honestly, with that overextension towards Banana, I saw Inferno slipping away between the cracks. It could have been lost, but instead, Hellraisers preserved their opportunity for a 2-0 in this series. They've woken up towards the end of their CT half and brought it all the way back to this scoreline. And really, it's JR individually who's been showing up in a massive way. Back-to-back rounds, it feels like, to help carry Hellraisers over the line.
On the AWP, he's looked really insane. He's really been carrying, like you said, carrying his side going forward. And as we prepare to reset and get into our first overtime period, you hope to see more of the same from his point of view. Remember, the first to 19, and it's an AWP instantly out on Kalinka. They can go for that double AWP setup. That was never an option they had in regulation time. Now, in any case, buyout for AGF. No AWP on their end. The 16k economy is now in the works.
JR can't get the opening kill in the opening round of overtime. Double AWP setup on the board. AGF looking to aggress through Banana. They won't find any kills, at least in the opening instance, but they perhaps want to go quickly into B here, as they sense a potential weakness. Problem going to have to stand true with Kalinka on that AWP, but the push already coming in. Problem good for one. Kalinka on the second as well, but now access to the B-bomb site completely denied. Hellraisers shutting out AGF. Lucky attempting to get more, but he's trapped alone in this scenario. He'll be cleaned up, and Hellraisers get the first of overtime. And
that's that Hellraiser performance which we saw not only in our train game earlier when they beat out Honoris, but also in the first map of Mirage. This is when they looked at their best. They looked confident. They had all 5 more or less trying to stay alive. And look at the switch of those odds. When we came into this map, LootBet, our partner betting company, was saying that AGF were favored. Now looking at the deficit, HR 1.54 now favored and expected to win.
A round up on the CT side of overtime. Early utility deployed towards Banana. Christo thinking about aggression with the AWP, but instead Oh, it's his opponent that walks into the crosshair, but he's not able to convert the shot. TMB going to eat a healthy amount of utility damage now. And Kalinka, why regress into that? You know Christo stood on the other side holding with his AWP crosshairs. Why does he just slowly repeat? What a silly decision to make. And it's cost HELLRAISERS the opening kill.
Well, Frozlev and Lucky are still trying to get damage done over towards A. Lucky got an initial one. JR the AWP. He was a standout player over towards Banana. Now towards Apartments. Looks for the kills, but just falls. Just too ambitious to get that kill in Apartments. Means now it's going to be up to Jamin. And Problem to now maybe find a way back into this.
The Molotovs found Frozlev. Problems converted another kill as well. This is starting to fall apart now for AGF in the A-bomb site. They still have 2 left alive, though. They still have the Molotov and smoke to work with. Christo on the AWP is going to be the vital peak around this corner. Whipping the opening shot, though. But Lucky burns Jalem alive, running through the flames. One-on-one as Lucky now gets aggressive, and he converts the kill. 16-16. It's all tied up again.
That's an AWP kept over. AGF now have an advantage pushing forward, and if they get this initial kill, that might be something. But HR, they back out from that double AWP setup. They now play just the one AWP. JR might look to keep it down on Banana. Now, what a chance for AGF to maybe now get some confidence boosting on their end. Close one-on-one aim duel. Firmly lost by HR. Again, Banana slightly where this early control is. A smoke in the way. But for the Ukrainian player, JR can't quite go beacon.
AGF are going quickly into the A site. HELLRAISERS are not ready for this at all. Flarich in the pit now. Needs to find a kill at some point. He can't see anyone because of the smoke, though. Instead, looking to flash himself out. Problem's gotten 2. There's the kill onto Lucky. That's the important one. But TMB gets it straight back with the grenade. 3-on-2 situation. Bomb needs to be recovered and planted by AGF. Problem on incredibly low HP on the AWP.
Smoke an advantage to Molotov. Oh, it just forces the bomb planter to go off the angle. AGF, they get forced out, but HELLRAISERS read that well, and that nade could so be good for damage. So low. Problem 3 HP. He's down to, but Kalinka's going to be surely this key player now looking to step up from Apartments. Sends out the flash. Looks for the player in pit. They both fall so quickly. TMB and Crystal can do very little other than a bomb plant. But HR again stands strong. They find 17, and that's 2 for them on the CT side of Inferno.
Now the halves switch in the opening overtime. HELLRAISERS need just 2 more rounds to push us up onto that magical 19, whereas AGF looking for all 3 to secure the single overtime victory and take us on to train. It was a long, long time ago indeed that HELLRAISERS were on the T side, perhaps with now some fresh ideas about what to commit to in this particular round, and they're going to need those fresh ideas, as they never had to encounter a double AWP setup, I don't think, from AGF, and now they're going to have one to deal with.
Well, that'll be a change to see if AGF can work with their double AWPs. Now on the CT side of this map, AGF are looking to defend going forward. Problem for now. Look for a bit of control deep into second mid. 3 players head in that direction. Smokes, and for the CT side, a quick win of Banana. Metric for now won't be too aggressive and too hungry to get anything. It will be the Apartments player that really looks for something. The nades for now, not doing too much.
It's a 4-man stack in A from AGF. Jalem's found Christo first, but there's 3 more holding this angle, and he still gets that converted headshot. JR overextending. What is that flick? Amazing shot from him. Frozlev now can punish, but he's been flanked on by HELLRAISERS as well. It all goes wrong. 4 men in the A-bomb site for AGF, and only one of them can get a kill. Netric now in the 1-on-4 situation to keep his team in it, and HELLRAISERS, they need just 1 more to finish it 2-0.
Well, AGF, the team favoured to come off winners in this. I'll have to look towards a second overtime period to even consider winning this map and even consider thinking about train. Look at the pressure now on these guys' shoulders. They've got the money, yes. But can they work with this? Because having 4 players stacked up and not being able to win that sort of a map is so critical. And most of it was just 1-on-4 Angels, more or less. 1-on-2 at best, but that's not the start you want. And now AGF have to change this up.
Absolute craziness from HELLRAISERS in the last round, and they want to attack the A-bomb side as well. They're feeling very good about that now. Now, AGF, they're gone aggressive up towards Banana. There's a smoke that'll prevent them from getting any additional information, but they could be quick on the flank if HELLRAISERS do pull the trigger onto this A-bomb site. Nade does decent damage, but Lucky can't convert any kills from his angle. Christo on the AWP now has been converted into us. Roslev has to stand through and defend. Gets an opening kill, but now being put under pressure in the A-bomb site. Uses a smoke to buy himself space, and the pistol, it does get to convert him. TMB, though, he's quickly up A short alongside his teammate. That smoke is going to block Jalem off from being able to defend the angle. Actually, Flaric on 7 HP as well. It's so tentative, but AGF are so close on the retake.
They've got no kits. They might, or the T side have no utility. That smoke's so golden because it now gives them that opportunity to get the bomb plant if they want it. And they're even looking and considering the B site. Surely not. Surely they don't make this too complicated, and they can do, in fact. The last 2 players still hiding on short, still waiting for something to happen. The CTs have a smoke and a kit, and for now, it's just the waiting game that Flowich is playing on 7 HP. One goes down on B. And now if you're AGF, how do you approach this retake?
They got to find Flaric first. That's the important kill to get. They expected the lurker in the A side, but do they expect Jalem to be so aggressive in CT? He's found the first shot and he converts it. The spray transfer from Jalem